Hello. We are in uncertain times. We are in times of anything goes. We are in times where truth is relative. We're at times that we would call dangerous times. So I want to give you understanding that we are in the last days. And the Christian scriptures points us to that very articulately. So therefore, listen to this particular example, because we have choices to make in our society, and the choice you make will be indicative to the consequences you receive. So listen to this illustration. Look at you driving down a highway when you and you encounter a sign that reads, "Dangerous curve ahead." Immediately you are confronted with making a choice. You make one of the three choices. One, you can observe the warning and slow down. Two, you can ignore the warning and maintain your rate of speed. Or three, you can defy the warning and speed up. Whatever your response you exercise, you will not change the truth of the sign. The curve still remains dangerous regardless whether you acknowledge that fact or not. So when you look at the scriptures, that in the Christian scriptures that is, Jesus spoke of the wisdom of discerning the signs of the time and taking appropriate action as we wait for his return. And you find that in Matthew the 24th chapter and Mark the 16th chapter. So as we look at this, godly ways, or should I say, godly prescription is prescribed in such a way that reveals that we are living in the last day. And you find that in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, the 3rd verse. So as we go on, I'm going to say the end of all things is at hand. And you find this in 1 Peter, the 4th chapter, 7th and 8th verse. Therefore, be self-controlled and sober-minded for the sake of your prayers. Above all, keep loving one another earnestly, since love covers a multitude of sins. Now you look at Isaiah, the 34th chapter, that prophet of salvation, where we look at the first and second verse. Draw near, O nations, to hear and give attention, O people. Let the earth hear and all that fills it, the world and all that comes from it. For the Lord is enraged against all the nations, furious against all their hosts. He has devoted them to destruction, has given them over for slaughter. So when we examine 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, verses 1 through 9, talks about the godless marks of the last days, you got to take your time in studying that. And simply because there's a lot there that will give us understanding of what is happening even now in our situation here. So when you look at the first verse there, he said, "In the last days perilous times shall come." Well, what do you mean by that? Perilous times mean difficult, troublesome, trying, uneasy, hard to live in, violent, threatening, dangerous days. And he said, and from that, you have a certain godlessness of illustration of people during the time. And it points to it, and it points to, let me give you a couple of these characteristics of people in the last day. People will be lovers of their self. That it means selfishness. It means self-centeredness. And it goes on putting oneself before others. And then seeks one's own desires without considering others. And go after what one wants, even if it's unwise and hurt others. It don't matter. It's what I want. It's say, have it your way. Do it your way. And don't take in consideration what will be the consequences for anyone else. We spend more time individualizing ourselves versus looking at it from a godly perspective. Godly perspective is put others first. And don't get me wrong, we have many who does that, but we have many who don't do it. So here's a situation. People, we become so covetousness of things, such as The love of money is the root of all evil. And the focus of that point is money, banking, more and more houses in the best neighborhoods, on the seashore, in the mountains, by the rivers, furnishings and property, possessions such as clothes, jewelry, antiques, art, vehicles, travel, seeing more and more sight, property, stocks and bonds, owning more and more, and power controlling more and more, but never coming to full satisfaction because we want more and more and more and more. Not understanding our fulfillment comes in God. God satisfies us. He satisfies our desires and all that we want and all that we need to be. He's the one who does that for us if we make the choice, though, for Him to do it. For the lover's money is the root of all kinds of evil, and some people craving money have wandered from the true faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows. 1 Timothy the 6th chapter 16th verse. And then people who become boasters. It's amazing how people boast in what he has and pretends to have what he does not have, or do what he has not done. And we have many that will do this. And here's a good point of illustration. Teachers who pretend to be wise, politicians who pretend to have the utopian state, and businessmen who pretend to have the product that brings health, beauty, and happiness. Wow! Don't that point to the day of time? We have so many people so wise, the elite type individual, because either they're highly educated somewhere, so that make them better than others? No, it shouldn't. That's what God gifted you at, and that gift is given to you to help other people, not to deceive, not to manipulate, but to build up. If we understand that concept, we'll have a better world. We will survive. And when you look at it, it said so many are so proud, those things they are better, that think that they are better than others. And there are some people, it's hard. A fall comes before pride. Pride comes before fall. Excuse me. Let me put it in that perspective. Okay? But those, the scripture put it this way, but those who exalt themselves will be humble, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. And what a lot of our leaders take that in consideration today. This is what's going to happen to. You know, you up, one day you up, the next day you down. It's only a matter of time. It may take months, it may take years, but you will come down. But those who humble themselves and acknowledge that there is a God, and we don't get away with nothing. Nothing at all. So if you think you are too important to help someone, you're only fooling yourself. You are not that important. And that's what happens to us. We arrive to such a point as God exalted us, and we think we are greater than the one who exalted us. And you need to look at history. Look at biblical history. I mean, look at Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon, that great empire that existed back then. And he was exalted, but he didn't understand where his help comes from. And his help came from God, because you got to understand, if God don't want something to happen, it's not going to happen. God give it, God take away. But don't blame God because the choices that you made. We make choices that brings on consequences because we're out of the will of God, one way or another. So think about it. No matter how educated you are, no matter how much money you got, no matter how much power you got, guess who have allowed that to happen? We think we are the managers of our own destination. Well, God is a sovereign God, and He allow you to do things based on your abilities. He allow you to do so. But when it comes to misleading and deceiving and lying and people to get what you want, there's a problem there. There is a problem there. So let's move on to some other thing. People will be disobedient to parents. And you got to understand that now. You got to understand that. The family is the foundation of our existence. It's the foundation. It's there where we're built up. It's there where we're taught. It's there where we're nurtured. It's there where the foundation is formed from 0 to 5 years old, and the foundation is laid there. And if that is disrupted one way or another, if that is so diluted, if that is so preconceived based on individuals' ideology and philosophical view outside of God, we're going to have dysfunctional people throughout the world. You may not believe me, but pay attention to that. And I remember when he used to say the reason why this person behaved the way they are, psychologically, saying that is because their environment. Well, go back and visit that. Scriptures to honor your father and mother, then you will live long. Full life in the land the Lord your God is giving you. Full life, America. The land that God has given us, blessed it in such a way. If we keep the very foundation God had instituted from the beginning. He's the one who instituted marriage. He's the one who instituted family. Not you, not us. We weren't even thought about before then. And then also, you got to be thankful to God. And he said in the last days, people will be unthankful. They have no sense of gratitude, appreciation for what one has received. Basically, they feel that the world and society, business and government owe them the good things of life. Don't that describe an entitlement mentality? Yes, there it is. There it is. And yes, they knew God. Many people know God. People call on God. But they would not worship him as God or even give him thanks. For who got you where you are? Who brought